Hello, everyone. Poor Swat Mo starts to worship Satan to get rich. Instead, the devil gave him a house of wealth, improving the car business, but Satan had another plan. She keeps taking it away from Swat Mo by one his loved ones. He couldn't even understand. Himself, why is this happening to her family, selling swad? Like his wife, couldn't do it until the child's funeral, and when he knows the reason for these, already was too late. Then today's story is true. Released Indonesian Islamic horror movie. His name is The Verge of Death. The melody of the story, we meet a 7-year-old girl named Nadia, who was carrying food for his mother. Nadia's mother has been much sicker for several years. We see blister-like wounds all over her body. She was sitting on the cot stunned. Then the little boy brought food and told him, "The new year begins at 12 tonight." And so no. Dia wants her to stay in this house with her mother to celebrate the new year. Listening to Nadia's mother, water comes into her eyes. Ask your mother why. Nadia and her brother, even if they want to save their own lives. Obey their father. The answer is no. He will always obey his father's words. His mother suddenly started vomiting blood. Nadia heard the scream, and her brother and father rushed there, but the father understands not to put his hands on his wife. Now there is no work in medicine. Wouldn't so. He left the room without a moment too late. Yoga doesn't want to understand that. Nadia's older brother followed her father, and he asked her to give his mother medicine. Why did she leave their mum like that? He gives no answer. But for this, she shits Yoga, and forbid him to follow her, does he? Go to a room in a moment, we hear the sound of her aspiration from that room. As if he was begging for the life of his wife to someone. This is how the night comes around that day. Outside, little kids were celebrating the new year by betting Nadia, and Yugata were watching from the inside mother's illness. It took away all kinds of joy from their lives, but don't be small, don't be too sad about it. He wanted his mother to get well. When their mom gets well, they are together, there will be many celebrations. 2 brothers were talking about this. In the meantime, suddenly their mother's throat call can be heard. She was calling it everyone which is not seen, and Yoga. Both are quite surprised, and goes on to the dining room. Get out of the room! They are so healthy to their mother, running around and hugging. This is how I see my mother after so many years, and watching the cooking of the mother's hands. The 2 sisters are very happy. Seeing this scene keeps their father in mind too. Maybe his prayers worked. Now many years later, their mother cooked for all know, and Yoga was very happy, as well as their dads all sitting together for dinner. Then suddenly there was a noise outside. Everyone knows it's 12 o'clock. They wish for each other. Then let their father know. Been so healthy in the middle of them, so tomorrow they will go out to celebrate the mother's well-being. During say we see a terrible shadow behind Nadia's mother, with he got up from there and went to the kitchen. At that moment Nadia noticed their water chalk was empty, so she follows her mom into the kitchen, and when he goes there, he sees her mom dipped his head in boiling hot water. Yoga, and her dad move in too, after hearing Nadia scream. Yoga keeps blocking Nadia. On the other hand, their father leaves to block their mother. Somehow gets his head out of the water. He then left with his wife and children for the hospital. I can see them going out. There really is a shadow of the devil in this house. Now the scene is gone 3 months after this incident. We see a lot of people in a market shop. Then came the car, Nadia's father. He surprised himself by seeing so much crowd here. This shop was originally hers. He opened this store 3 months ago. And now that there is so much crowd in this store, no one goes to the neighborhood store. Now the scene goes to Nadia's house, where the reconstruction work was going on. Nadia was looking for Yuga, Nadia's mother, before she died. The person who lived in the room was sitting on the floor of the room doing yoga. Some of the weird tiles in front came up and looked. We will know that day. The place where Nadia's mother vomited blood, instead of cleaning the blood in that place, their dad changed Tilsy. Which is why I still don't understand. No one knows his father. 3 months ago, there were 4 in their family. Now they are members. Of 3, their mother did not choose 2 brothers, sister and father. So no, Dia Yoga makes you think too much about this. It also forbids you to say anything against your father. Don't give basically to her brother. Came to ask for help with homework, But seeing the brother's otherness, Nadia wants to move up from there. That's when Duet calls him. There was a tiles noir from between the tiles in front, but couldn't see it without Yuga. Remove those tiles and then move your head to see what's inside. That Yugger with a pair of hands that looks scary, right? Then, sitting holding his head and dragging him inside, Yoga was screaming at that moment. Nadia could see that only the place putting head on the dance and doing shit like that. So she couldn't figure out what to do. Yoga takes its head off that hand. That's when she sees some insect from inside is coming at her. When he saw Yoga, he ran out of the room. His father was standing at the door, who asks whether or not to give, but he didn't understand anything himself. No one can answer his father. From outside at that time, their dad walks out when the noise. We see an employee like their father, brought a goat time to eat at night. Yoka starts speaking out against their father again. Ask your father questions. Why has she kept this house so messy? For so long, why is he working on this home renovation? It's been going on for the last few years. This work is not ending, like all those messy feelings, for the work of this continuing in vision with him. Basically, their mom got sick, his mother died for his father. Just listen. Their father can no longer control his anger. He slapped Yoga with a slap, and then he gets up and goes home. That night I was very sad, which is why Nadia went to her room with her request that age. Yuga from then on, not to argue face to face with their dad. Why not? You don't get hurt anymore, don't like to lose them more. They hear their mother's call. Who was calling Yaga? She asks Nadia. Whether or not Nadia heard her mother's voice, but Nadia doesn't tell on it and falls asleep with a twist. But Yoga was sure she heard her mom calling, so he went outside the house to check. Just a little kid. We can see him running in front of us, without giving too much attention to the boat. Walking into the kitchen and reaching where her mother was standing. Hot water was boiling over the stove in front. The mother's head should be turned when she puts her hand on her shoulder. Yoga was quite scared by this scene, but then the place was completely empty. No one was there. Meanwhile, hearing the sound of someone's Hope from behind Yoga is hiding there. At that time, Yoga's father came into the kitchen. She from a cover next door. Something takes over and then do not go straight to the room. She is quite surprised to see Nadia's room empty in this opportunity. Yoga's kitchen comes straight out of the cover of the room, in her bed. Meanwhile, Nadia's father comes to the room to find her, and two brothers' sister who before seeing him sleep here makes him pretty sure, get out of here. He takes that goat and goes to that room. He went into the room 3 months ago to pray. Yoga getting into this room, it was forbidden to give. I see Yoga here. His father hid a goat, going to that room at night. Which is why his mind is curious. When he opened the door, he saw something like this. She is absolutely shocked by what she sees. We are not told what Dumb saw here. We are shown the scene 9 years after this event. Yoga is almost 20 years old now. Nadia, on the other hand, has passed 179 years. But the renovation of their home has not yet stopped. With the house's random messy, the dirt is there. We see Nadia is bandaging Yuga's hands. Seeing that we can understand Yoga and the disease Nadia's mother had, someone has the same disease. Yoga is always mindful. He did not respect his father properly. I didn't know why. Why Yoga so far? I didn't share anything with Nadia. Taito, Nadia seems to. There may or may not be a problem with Yoko's head. What mental patient is he suffering from? And that's why he didn't, and his father did. That they go to a doctor with Yoga. Yoga gets pretty pissed off hearing this, then don't say anything. Yoga stops him and says, when he walks away, that was 9 years ago. They know their father's secret. So far, he did not share with, but now he thinks, Nadia has grown so much that he will know the secret. So she told Nadia to stay awake that night without sleeping. But their father doesn't understand that. No Diao, just so she keeps acting sleepy. At that moment, his father comes back to the room with that thing in his hands, like Tissue did 9 years ago. She sees Nadia sleeping and walks away. Shortly after this, the Oge gets there and called Nadia and walked out. They are the door of that room. It turns out that going to the room was forbidden for them. Yoga here tells Nadia what with the hall. Nadia was very scared. yet he dares to look inside through what hole you can see inside. Their father certainly has a goat's head, separated from. Then the blood of the goat was poured into his body. Only 9 take your blood with you. He drank the blood, and then worshipped someone. After worshipping, he comes out with the body of that goat. But before then, Yoga and Nadia got out of there in the courtyard of their house. Their father was burying the body of that goat. What he doesn't see is scared. He couldn't be silent for long. Going to the father, he directly questions what he is. Doing father continues to cry and ask the other side go to that room. Seeing that his father quickly followed him, it also prevents the disease. Then again he blamed her for the death of their mother. She keeps saying for all his father's work. Maybe their mother is dead. Years ago their mother 9 should have died rather. Then their father, as soon as he heard, his father was silent and said, "There really wasn't talk about her mother's death, 9 years ago." Just then, the scene goes away. We know in the past, Yuga's parents weren't so rich beforehand. They had no place to live. Small. They lived in a business and a home caretaker. In such circumstances, Yuka's father chooses this path to make up for his lack. That is, they began to worship Satan. The house that has been renovated year after year is always kept random worshipping. Like this with it was all part of that worship, which he will have to fill for the rest of his life. Instead, Satan will give him wealth. Money, money. This is how everything in this car went for quite a while. Suddenly one night terrible, one Yoka's dad's sleep is broken by dreams she can see. His wife was already crying in one corner of the room. When asked about this, his wife says, the devil came in his dream. And his first child, you want to say. My father had the same dream, but Yuga's mother would rather not agree to the devil's proposal here. He gave himself to the devil. That is, he asked Satan not to kill Yuga but to kill him, then the devil agreed. It was basically their daily, they will give their first child to Satan. But now, since the devil Yuka has agreed to take her mother instead. So now they had nothing to do anymore, and since the day Yuka's mother got sick, and then Yuka's father tried a lot of people want to save their wives. He was willing to tell himself. But the devil agreed to nothing, she couldn't stop this thing. Yuga said in his earlier head that he would stop everything this time, so he started doing everything in that room. Yuga's father tries hard to stop him, but they break the statue there. The father who worshipped, immediately the storm started to blow all around. All the candles in front are extinguished. In such circumstances, Yoka's father keeps apologizing to the devil. He asked her to give up her child. But Yoga was still tiring of giving up. She wanted to get out of there with Nadia, but his dad tries to block him. Why not? If they leave, their danger will increase. Not listening to his father. Looking at Yoga and imprisoned in that room, who does Nadia want to go out with? But he stopped as he approached the main door, because there was a terrible spirit in front of him. Around the whole room was filled with terrible spirits, the only ones you could see. Nadia couldn't see anything. Now it's because of watching these things. Don't go out with Yuga, Nadia, that night. Nadia goes to school the next morning. Here he is, about all these devil worshippers on the internet searching. Right. Then class 4. With access to his computer, he runs it into the projection, which is why everyone in the class knows that. What has Nadia been searching for so long? Not doing it is a shame. After class. All the students at school were laughing at him to save themselves from this laughter. He goes straight to the library, where he had a friend. Only this boy at school understood. Nadia. I thought the boy's name was Baktala. Now without spending. Sometime with Bath comes home, since current left last night. Electricity has not yet arrived. But the electricity line is just fine. The Egyptians did not understand that. Where is the real problems employee of their shop, called in to Nadia? She wants Nadia to know where their father is. Nadia asks in surprise. He went out in the morning, didn't. She reached the store. The man in the north says that no, her father hasn't been to the store since morning until now, with also off her phone. With no. Here trying to watch her dad call, at that time, he heard about 2 mistresses. Those who have an electrician's office wanted to talk there, but the other believes him, Nadia's father, would never want it. At the same time, a few other friends say that they've been working on this house for years. The fact that the work is not finished is strange. Someone next door says they get paid a lot of money in return, if it's weird. Yet they have to keep working right here in their mouths. No, Daya heard all this, but he said nothing. That night, I was home alone. After 12 calls, none of his father and brother were answering the phone. Once Hugo receives a call, but what else could Dia speak to him completely? Nadia's phone goes off. His phone wasn't charged. He couldn't charge because he didn't have electricity all day. He can see through the window. There is still current in the front house. So he took the charger and went next to the neighbor. The neighbor also takes him to the saddle. Here she was, repeatedly asking Nadia to have dinner with them because the meat is cooked. It was originally given to them by Nadia's father. Their financial situation is not so good that they can eat meat. Basically, Nadia's father would say, "Kasi to the devil." His head is dedicated to the devil. Cut off the rest of the body, he would distribute among the neighbors. Poor neighbors benefited greatly. Nadia knew that. Where did this Kasi meat actually come from? She saw her neighbors eating the meat. She feels pretty weird. On the other hand, Yaba returned home at the same time. He was looking for her in his room, exactly. Only then can Nadia's screams be heard from the upstairs room. I can see Yuga running upstairs. Nadia is standing in the same place. But it wasn't Dia. It was that devil. Whether that yoga was scaring Nadia. With her terrifying form seeing, all of this makes Yaga so scared. Then Nadia came and hugged him back. Shortly after that, their father moved in with a goat. Nadia asks him where he's been all day, then let their father know. Such a black goat he couldn't find anywhere, and that's why he went to the village to buy goats. He didn't use any people in that job, because he didn't want anyone to doubt it. And then their father apologizes to Uga. Tell that Uga now! Everything that has happened until surely he is so himself, but Yoga who has to abide by his father's words. If not, they are in greater danger. The boat never wants to listen to its father. They didn't have time to do yoga. The last thing my mother said was to save their lives. They must abide by the words of their father. Listening to what my mother had said before she died, Yoga and Yoga's father, both are surprised. Meanwhile, Nadia, his father. He began to help the devil. Seeing the two working together like this, Yoga goes there too and helps them. She comes home to the lacticity to help. This is what Satan wanted. He wanted to make the whole family his worshipper. This is how it looks after 6 months. For 6 months, they have been worshipping Satan together. Everything was pretty much fine. Today was the last day of the year. The new year begins at 12 o'clock. The year will go from 2011 to 2000, 12 exactly 10 years from today, i.e. the first year of 2002. So they lost their mom. Their 2 brothers were upset about this, but they know. Their mother always wanted to see them smile, so they're gonna celebrate the new year tonight. They're fine at night. The 3 of them were cooking together. Was pretty happy with that too. The relationship between Yuga and her father came off pretty well. Yuga started getting cold at that time, so he went inside, bring her jacket, going inside and opening the closet. You open the door to his room. Then gets off, but don't take it too seriously. She wants to come out with a jacket right then. The door of the cupboard opens you. He goes and locks the cupboard, and then when Yoga starts coming back again, the closet is open again. So Yuga didn't understand. There was definitely a problem, so she wants to open the door and get out fast. But when he opens the door, the devil himself appears before him. But the sound of screaming does not reach the ears of Nadia because there were bets around then. 12 rang. Everyone around was celebrating the new year, but since Yoga hasn't come out yet, so Nadia herself goes to call Yoka going there and seeing Nadia. The state of the Yuga house is completely upside down. Before she realized anything, Yoga from above came and fell in front of her, who grabs that Yoga trying to escape from there. But the devil keeps pulling Yoga and floating in the air and hits with different stuff. Kill him right there in front of your eyes. It was hard not to see this scene. After everything stops, they do it in the ambulance then. Yoga tries to take someone to the hospital, But by then, Yoga already was dead, so they do nothing else. The next morning, the corpse was taught the shroud. There is no funeral or bath. Their father lied to them all. Yoga or funerals and baths have been done, and buried him. Nobody outside needs help. For one thing, he tells the neighbors to leave, and tell Nadia to shut the door to the room whenever you close the door of your house. That's when he got shocked, because there was no terrible spirit floating in the air. This is where Yuga keeps his ears and eyes closed like a word. And then that spirit really goes away and the scene changes. And we know, since Yuga's death, his father's business grew several times, as it happened after the death of Yuga's mother. That is, this improvement in business was giving him the devil. Nadia's father saw everything. Worried about Nadia at the same time, we see Nadia at school. Seeing him the other attentive, the teacher comes up beside him. Right then, the cut head of the teacher from above turned into a goat falling in front of her. I was terrified not to see this scene. But then I realized there was no such thing. As a result, she gets a lot more nervous and out of the classroom, running out of 5 stars, saw him running like this. And she arrives at the library to follow him. With here, Nadia, she tries to talk, although Nadia did not want to talk to him this time. But the reality is that if she doesn't want to share anything with him, then he doesn't need to share. But at least he wants to speak his mind to someone who, whether or not he will ever jazz it, he should no longer take antidepressant medication on the floor. He was talking about writing a diary, because a diary is an object where anything can be written. Even though I write everything in my mind, diary will never jazz anyone. This is what Nadia remembers. That was from that night. Starting to write a diary, I heard a call from outside. This Nadia arrived at the house of worship. He can see when he gets there. Young and the dead body is roaming around the devil. Nadia looked at the scene. They screamed and fainted after a while. His father returned his knowledge. We see Nadia had similar injuries. Like it was in the hands of his mother and brother. Dad was doing his dressing here. Don't tell your father. He saw the devil in that room, who was eating yoga. He didn't listen to his father for a moment. To make Nadia say they are going to a special place at that time. On the way, he saw a strange woman who was looking at them, but his father could not see him. After entering the forest, different, I could see the woman at the place. Meanwhile, it was getting dark all around. I see Nadia right now. The woman is standing in front of her car. Her father still couldn't see the woman. Don't try to save this woman, a small car accident. When Nadia turns hush, then he can see in the seat next to him is his father. 9, rather the woman, which saw Nadia get out of the car fast, and the forest. Running. Away with honey and looking for her father. The boy came to see his father. But it was his father 9, rather than his terrible soul. Father was still in the car. Then he began to seek knowledge. Not here could see numerous spirits in different parts of the jungle, who all together surround him, and he loses knowledge. He finds himself in a room to get knowledge back. His dad was talking to someone in the next room. When he met this man, his father would tell him to be here. Came, but people can't help them here. Says clearly at that moment, Nadia went to a room next door. There were numerous family pictures on the wall. Some of the pictures were destroyed. Once again, some of the pictures were very clean and good. That's when the guy comes into the room. Nadia asks him to cry all these pictures. Tell the man in the north. All these pictures of the people he helped. Nadia answered that question. A few pictures with his family. Why is this ruined? Whose pictures have been destroyed here, their soul? Nadia's father saw her in the woods. Soyuz trying to stick him in here. She basically didn't want Nadia to know anything else about it. But the man here tells Nadia that all these people, their greed has put their families in great danger, as well as the family. They have also ended themselves, basically this guy, to help different families, contact with the devil, and always, the ritual, and in exchange, for the sacrifice of goats, the devil gives them equal wealth, everything a family needs to survive, some of them. There are people who, whether it's because of greed or because of a bigger deal with the devil, which makes them very rich, it destroyed their families. Nadia was shocked to hear this. He tells his father that they brother-sister who believed that, but he is giving them the wealth. Swad in socks, it would be something he didn't know when he made the deal 20 years ago. He didn't know he was only a goat for this deal. People also have to sacrifice their families. Then the man said it was the test of the devil, like many family. Their families also lost the test. This is their day today. In this case, the guy can't help them anymore, but Swad was still pushing to accept the rate. He promised Nadia that she won't let Nadia be anything. She'll save Nadia anyway, so she came home first. The house of worship was completely destroyed. He then sold all his cars, how many businesses he has. They also sold them, with all this money. He is in various madrasas and mosques. Donate. Not seeing this change between the father and Dia herself was surprising. Renovation of their home in the final. After all these years, work is stopped and cleaned up. Dad girls start staying there. Say goodnight to my dad that night. When Nadia was going home, then suddenly Swad noticed the main Nadia hitting her head with the wall. Basically that. The whole devil. How did Nadia subdue? His hands attacked his father. Swad, like no opinion him on the bed boy. So, and his hushback. And then he took Nadia out. In order to help, day after day, month after month, month after month. Year after year, Sohag turns face with Nadia different local, looking for someone who can save her child. Even without this time, he continued to write all his thoughts in the diary. Seeing her father's longing, she didn't even realize that herself. Dad should hate her. Or should he show compassion towards her? Because this is what his father is doing today. She lost her mother-brother for the father, but eating this daddy sleep. It's running around with him aside from everything to save his life. But nowhere are they getting help. This is how 9 years passed, 2021, approximately 1 gram. There they went in search of a woman named Unjug, not looking at a girl sitting and moving towards her, and asked him Unjup where. The girl started to move in the direction of her hand. Seeing her, her father moves in that direction as well. Then Nadia looks back. There is no girl there, or maybe it was a spirit. Going forward somewhere, they see an old woman, and goes over to her to talk. It was originally unable to see, unable to Swatmak, keeps telling his identity. I only knew Nadia before. 9 that happened in the past. He knew about everything that happened with his family. Swatma wants her help here. It also says that he did not keep anything from the devil, donated everything. Then what does it say? The sins he has committed are never forgiven. 9 So, even though he tried 1,000, you cannot leave your sins behind. Satan took his wife in early 2000, his first child in 2012, this time in early 2022. That's why the urge goes to Nadia and suffer for not giving. Eternal, she grabbed Anjike's leg and asked for help from him, how to save your child, but despite the urge. They couldn't help it. In 2022, the first night. Knowing it would be the last night for him, Nadia was totally broke, but his father was still reluctant to give up. That's when she took Nadia with her, wanted to go for some other help, but no Dia. Stop him this time and say, he has very little time left on his hands. He's too tired to run like that, at the end of his life. He wants to relax. She wants her father to be there for her. And no more trying. Swat breaks down when he hears this. He asked for forgiveness. Nadia finally forgives her dad. Then they return to their familiar address. Nadia back home messages to 5 stars in one place. To meet him ask, to come 5 floors, and immediately receiving the message, he comes to meet you. It was the last day of 2021, in the hands of Nadia, until 12 tonight. There is time. Thanks for the 5 stories. Don't give up the idea of writing a diary, maybe suffer from more depression. On the bamboo floor asking him where he had been so long, why is she? Not completely completing her school, went away from school, don't answer. She went on vacation with her dad, listening to the bamboo floor. Maybe it was a lot of fun these years. Without an answer, Nadia hands over her written diary. The bamboo floor is when I wanted to read it, but no, he forbade her to read it at that time. She wanted to chat with him. Bastala agrees to this proposal, but there she tells Nadia to promise that too. Years ago, the way Nadia suddenly left them, he never goes that way. With that, you can't answer the words, but keep your face hidden and cry. Day turns into night. There were only 5 minutes left to play. The father and daughter were both sitting at the dinner table in silence. He suddenly told his father, "Let her. Father, leave her alone for the last time. He doesn't want his dad to be in this room when he dies. The pillar asks. She wants her daughter to be by her side last time. I didn't know how hard it was to see death. John's mother again when he was a child. He saw his brother die. So he doesn't want anything. Her father. May his memory of this brutal death live on, it was his last wish. Tell her dad to leave this room." Swat Moo broke down in tears when he heard this. He hugs the girl while crying. After saying goodbye, he left the room. Outside, then the lightning was flashing, and there was a storm. Nadia Moni was storming. Why is he going to die after a while? It also looks very ruthless. The lights in that room started flicking. Nadia was behind the devil, which Nadia looks up at, immediately. Her lesions start to itch to see. He started tearing the skin off his hands and face. Nadia realized her death was going to be very cruel. He cuts his own throat with the knife he placed in front of him. Death itself makes it a little easier. The devil was still behind him. Standing in the corner of the door on the other side was crying. His helpless dad scene changes, and we see 5 floors. Whether it was in West, where was the last time she met Nadia, she was reading Nadia's diary, where in the end, Nadia wrote to her that he doesn't say, "Believe the bust." He only wants so much. Do not feel alone. Those who are not lucky. If they believed him, then let her pray for Nadia and her family, so that, even if they are not in this world, they can be one again in the afterlife. We see home is true, going to their graves and praying for them. The scene changes, and we see that in the Swad face. Was that alone in the whole house, all around Nadia? Yuga and their mother's voice was binding them. These incessant words seemed to make the Swat face even more crazy. He was absolutely devastated by the loss of his family. She was using like crazy, suddenly. He came and felt someone walk past him to check. He goes to that room, where he worshipped the devil. Slowly, the door of the room opens to you. She can see. Standing inside are Yogan, Nadia, and their mother. Those who call him Swad Mao to themselves, you can see it going forward. Their 3 heads have become the heads of goats. Then the door closed from behind. And through this terrible scene, this is where today's story ends. I hope you liked this story. The end of the story was very sad, but that was the imperative. Otherwise, we will think that maybe God will forgive you. But know when you bow your head to someone other than God, God will never forgive. Maybe that's why God didn't want it. May Swatme and his family live. Although there was nothing wrong with yoga and not giving, but their deaths were necessary to misunderstand their father. I hope you enjoyed this story. If it is good, then don't forget to do a like and a comment if in our channel. You are new, then please subscribe channel.